Well, we've driven all the way down to Leeds area, and we're going to first of all meet up with Brian's mum, who we haven't seen for 12 weeks. Is it 12 weeks? And 10 weeks. And although we can't touch her, we can say hello to her. And then we're going to go, and it's his granddaughter's birthday, so we're going to have a bit of a drive past her house to wish her happy birthday. Look at this. It's a lovely park. Going through the wisteria. Well, no, it's not wisteria. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. I've been to this park before, but I haven't been here. Not to this area. And it's gorgeous.
So she recognises us.
Just stand still.
Keep your distance.
She doesn't recognise you.
She does.
Do you know who we are? Do you know who we are?
Oh, really? Look at it, Krista. Nobody will know.
Do you know who we are?
Yeah.
Who are we?
Brian and Micheline.
How are you two?
We're all right, love.
What's in the back?
Coffee and bacon sandwich.
Oh, bloody hell. How do you manage that?
Coffee is open.
Is it?
Right, but you can't stay in it. You can
Oh,
just
wow.
go and get the food out. We get to go out.
Oh, that's all right.
We've been visiting his mum. Had a lovely time at the park, and they brought coffee and bacon sarnies, so I didn't complain about that. Now he's gone to get some milk because his daughter needs some milk, and we're going to see the granddaughter and wish her a happy birthday. Oh, I like the outfits. Very nice. Hi, Andy. Where's Grandad? Where's Grandad? Bright orange.
Look at that girl.
And little Indy's got hers on as well.
Okay. Does she look okay? I think she looks
No, I think she looks older than 8.
older.
Yeah, I think
What,
she's
like-
8 years and
Like 80.
a few hours.
Indy? Right. Hello Fern, hello Indy, hello Isabel. It's me, I'm painting. I bet you wish you were not splashing around on paper. I've got a whole ceiling, right? Watch this. Are you ready? Ready?
Hold on, you've got
Ready?
there.
Here we go, this bit here. Ready? Look at that. I know one little girl who wished she was here at least. Well,
Can I paint that? Oh, you've covered me in paint.
yes!
He's covered me in paint.
That's all for now. More later. Are you excited? I'm excited.
I bet it's the same as the 40th edition, is it? Oh, no, they're different. Oh,
41st edition.
41st edition.
Oh, we've got the 40th. What, the 40th?
Oh, very pretty coloured one, isn't it?
Oh, I like these.
Very nice.
Right, they're not too expensive. You can have one for 50 quid.
I don't think so. I wouldn't pay £50 for
Well,
it.
Fern and Indy, Isabel, William and Ed, Claudia and Alexa.
There you
I've got 6 left and I'm open to offers. We've worked out that they come out approximately every 2.2 years. We've got the 19th edition, which therefore is only 38, about 42 years after 1923. So that's a 1965 version of the Bureau book.
That's good, he can work out his maths because I can't.
Hey!
And what version is the other one? The 40th?
Well, we got the 40th, so that's a couple of years ago.
No, I got that for my grandkids, for my kids when they went off to university.
Did you?
So that was, oh, I don't know, I'll have to see. Maybe I didn't. I'll have to check that. Two boxes, one there and one above here. And I've been putting these little lights up here, these solar powered lights. And when I pulled the box, I wanted to see if there was any baby birds in. I found a wasp nest. And I've taken the box away and the wasps have come back and they're a bit angry because they can't find the wasp nest up there. And then I took this one away and there was the beginnings of a wasp nest. But even more so, see if you can see a little bat fast asleep. I hope it's not bringing coronavirus. Look at that, fast asleep. Bless it. Hi everybody, it's me again. I think some of you have been wondering where I've been because I got a couple of nice messages saying, we miss you. And I'm so thankful you did that because, as you know, we've been getting the other side of my she shed, I always forget the name of it, Fortress of Solitude. I call it a she shed as well. I've been getting the other side of this Fortress of Solitude, this she shed done. And the plasterer came over about 2 weeks ago. I think he was coming on a Monday or a Tuesday, I can't remember now. And he came, did a beautiful job. And then it must have been, anyway, on the following day, the government had said we could meet people on a one-to-one basis. And him up there decided that he just had to go and see his mother, and he had to go and see his, not so much see, but it was his granddaughter's birthday, and he just had to go and see her just to say happy birthday to her. I'm missing the kids, the grandkids, but I tend to see my grandkids a lot on WhatsApp, whereas he hasn't, and he was getting quite grandchild sick, let's say, not just with his but with all of them, you know, and he just wanted to see them. So so I'll put a little bit up. We went for a drive down there, we met his mother, sat at a good safe distance from both of them. It was basically a one-to-one, so I was we're both sat on opposite sides of a big table, and her and her partner were on one side and we were on the other. And then we had a little, it was supposed to be a drive past for his daughter. He ended up getting out the car, not touching her, but keeping a safe distance, but to give her a birthday present, to put it on the floor and then stand back and watch her open it. But it seems silly because him touching it, she can touch it, so it passes on, doesn't it? But I think it's worse if it comes the other way. Anyway, so we did that. Then we came back here. It was, I'm not sure, I think it was lousy weather at first. And so we got on with the decorating, the painting and decorating in here next door. And then it got really hot and my orders started getting I started building up lots of orders. And so I've been very busy with orders. His side of the business hasn't been busy at all, but I've been very busy, so he was helping me. And then what happened? Oh, then I kept saying I should vlog, and then I thought, oh, do you know, I want to sew. So instead I did some sewing, and I shouldn't have, because I made two or three mistakes. I wanted to sew, but when I ended up sewing, it didn't turn out right. But anyway, before I carry on, I want to tell you about the saga of my sewing machine and the fabric. Do you remember that little shirt I was making? Well, I got it finished. I actually managed to fix it. I think I was telling you that it wouldn't sew on my good machine, and it wouldn't sew on my heavy duty Singer one. So all of you sent some fantastic messages, and I've taken some I've taken photographs of the statements that you made, and I thought I'd read them out to you, just to let you know what you said. Some of you do read the comments below the videos, and other ones don't, and I just wanted to let you see what they said, if I can find them. Melandew 29 said, I was telling you about how the little bobbin had a little screw, and she said don't touch that because of just the tension, and it wasn't until I didn't need to touch it anyway. But then I kept thinking, well, surely on the old-fashioned bobbin sewing machines, you had your little one that you push in sideways from underneath. The little screw was for changing the tension. So I figured that would be the same, and I realised I shouldn't be touching it, so I didn't touch it. And Practical Stitches said that she had something similar. She took it to the repairman. He said the tension was too tight. Well, I did adjust the tension. It didn't seem to make any difference. Then going to another one, Mary Enos said you might want to check out the Schmetz needles for their new needle that's being used on possibly fabric with a backing. So another few people were saying always go for good needles, which I do, and Schmetz apparently is a very good one. Then I got Ridgereich. She says, well, she said the same thing. The only time you turn the screws if your bottom tension's too tight. Well, it wasn't that. I knew it wasn't that. And then Charlotte Tracy said, I think your sewing machine might work on that fabric if you use tissue paper. And another lady emailed me, and I'm going to go to that email, and it was Linda Clegg, because she said she repaired machines, and she was retired now, but she used to repair machines. And she said, she gave me two suggestions. She said change your needle to a 14 or 16, or other people said denim needles, other people said go for a heavy duty needle. Well, I did have a denim needle in, and she says that should solve the issue, but it didn't make any difference at first. And then she also said, Linda also said, if the stitch needle fails you, one of the solutions is paper. You can either put the paper on top of the fabric or underneath the fabric, and it helps it move along. That one I think is a good idea. I didn't need to do it in the end, but I thought it was a very good idea, because you do have that problem with certain fabrics. Somebody said, had you washed it? Yes, I washed it, but what I also did was I washed it again. I thought I'm going to wash it again, see if that makes any difference. And then going back to the comments again, Nita Hearn. Nita gave me a really good idea. It didn't resolve it. The thing what I found was, I did two things. I thoroughly cleaned this Singer sewing machine. I think I cleaned it before, but somebody said check the upper arm that goes up and down. Check there's nothing jammed in there. There wasn't anything jammed in my Singer, but I did find previous to what was going on, I found a little piece of fluff in my new machine, in my good machine. But what I did find was washing the fabric, putting a denim needle on, cleaning, in the case of my heavy duty one, cleaning between the teeth on the bottom, because there was fabric in there and it had felted up, so I cleaned between the teeth on the heavy duty one. And the funny thing was, there was two other things, and one of them was what Nita Hearn said to me, and the other one was, I was thinking that it's possibly the way the spool is. Now I'll show you what the spool is like on my machine. The spool lies sideways, and I kept thinking, I know you've got to have the little disc on the top that's appropriate to the size of the spool, which I did have. These are the spools I'm using, and I tried it with the small cap and with a big cap, and I was still having problems with it. I tried the tension, and I found the answer to it was, instead of having my thread come in that way, have it that way on the other peg that goes upwards. Normally it goes in that way, but because there's a spare peg thing, where is it, that one? I found that if you're using double threads, that you could put that on top of the part on my machine where you would wind the lower spool, rethread the lower spool. So I put that on that way, and it made a massive difference. So I don't know whether it was that, I think it was a combination of a lot of things, but I finally got everything going well. But there was one thing that Nita Hearn said, and Nita said, it's so frustrating when something goes wrong with your machine. Have you tried tightening your top tension slightly? So yes, I'd done that. I bought some Magic Genies, thin round paper discs you put in before the bobbin. I use these when I do my quilting, as my machine did the same, and it did the trick. Definitely not a happy bunny when my machine goes wrong. Good luck. Now Nita, that got me, I was interested. I thought, what are these Magic Genies? So then I looked them up on the internet, and these Magic Genies are little discs. They're actually Teflon discs that go into the bottom of underneath the spool, and it helps the spool turn better. Apparently it stops it jamming. And so I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. So I almost clicked to buy, and then I saw the price. And I think for 4 or 6 it was £10, and I went, £9.50, and I thought, you're joking. I'm not paying £9.50 for that. You know, some of us don't have a lot of money, or some of us don't want to spend that much money on what just looked like a tiny little thing. But I bettered that. This is the way my father says. My father always used to say, j'ai mieux que ça, I can do better than that. So I looked up Teflon sheets, and I found some Teflon sheet, and I'll show you now. This Teflon, you can get different thicknesses, so I figured it's got to be quite thin. It's going to have to be very thin for the spool to go on, so it doesn't jam the spool. So I actually bought a piece of Teflon, and it comes in a square like that, and it's very thin. I don't know if you can see how thin it is. Let me do it like that. Can you see how thin it is? It's very thin. And apparently, you know what Teflon is. Teflon irons have that on the sole of the plate so that it glides. Well, I thought, oh, that might be a good idea. So then when I got it, I traced round the bottom spool, and I cut a little circle out. And I put that little circle underneath the spool case, inside the spool case. So I put the circle down, and the ones that they were selling had a little hole in the middle. And I think that's probably for some machines that do have holes in the middle. I would have cut the hole out if I needed, but I didn't think I did, because my bottom of my spool case doesn't have any holes in. So I drew round the spool, and then I cut round it and made a little circle. And that circle has gone underneath the spool case, underneath the spool, in the spool case. And it makes the thread go really well. So Nita Hearn, I would like to thank you for that. And also, I know I should be letting you go and buy these magic, what were they called? Magic Genies. I'll put a link below for you to see what they are. You may want to buy them if you want to buy that sort of thing rather than doing what I do. But they are exactly the same as this. Teflon discs. And I think there's 6 of them, as I say. So I suppose if you've got 6 sewing machines, you can put them on every sewing machine. But I just figured it was a good idea to buy the sheet. I think I would get 1, 2, 3, 4, and possibly 1 in the middle. I might get about 5. It was a 50mm square by, I think it's 2mm thickness, and that served its purpose. So this is the finished shirt that I've done. Not happy with the collar. You can see here I had a right carry on. You see it, I had stitches. I actually ended up doing it twice over, and not the best. I should have really unpicked it, but by that stage I just thought, oh, just let's get it made. You can see there's some long stitches there, and the second one wasn't so bad. I should have possibly unpicked those, but wasn't so bothered. Finally got everything a lot better here. This was after I'd corrected it, and you can see the stitching is far better. And then when I came to doing the buttonholes, I thought, oh, this is going to be awful, but actually I'll show you what the buttonholes look like. Buttonholes turned out quite nice. You can see the white through because that's where I've cut them. That one there. They've turned out better than I expected them to do. But I didn't bother redoing that because I've decided that I would actually do a second version of this, and I've ordered some lighter fabric, some lighter cotton to make the same shirt, because I think it's going to be quite stiff for her to wear. It's been washed a couple of times. I think it's going to be quite stiff, and I'd rather have something that kind of hung nicely on her. So that's kind of the prototype. And now I've perfected the sewing machine, I should have less of a problem. Got a little bit of a stray thread there that I need to pull off. That's on the buttonhole. Morning. It is Monday, May 25th. It's a bank holiday, and we have just come to work so that I can do a plate for one of my customers who wants a bench plate, I believe it is, or a door plate. And his lordship is in there, and he's busy doing a couple of little minor orders. He's just gone to drop a trophy off for a customer, and then I think we're just headed straight home again. It's a beautiful day. There's quite a lot of people out walking, and I think it's going to be a garden day and possibly a barbecue day. Hello!
Mother. It's all right. We'll stay over here.
Oh, yes.
Come and sit down.
No, we're.
What day is it today?
It's Wednesday,
Thursday.
Oh, aye. It's Thursday.
Hold on.
It's Thursday, the something of May.
It's Thursday the 28th of May. He got the Thursday and he got the May right, but he got the something wrong.
Yeah, that was correct. It was a something of May.
It was a something of May.
It wasn't a nothing of May.
You ought to come on this side so that Helen can sit over there.
Yeah.
We've been to see Brian's mum and Gordon. We're sat over in the other side of the park. We've walked back up to them to where their car is, and now we're sitting here because the grandchildren might be coming. His grandchildren.
We'll walk with them, I think, rather than sit. The kids won't want to sit.
No, the kids will want to do exercises and stuff, so you might get to see some of the exercises they do.
Fern's worth watching, definitely.
The big ones are worth watching. our favourite places is now opened, but there's a lot of social distancing, and it's Raby Castle. We can't actually get into the castle, but we can walk around the grounds, and we can have coffee and cake. Although the cake is wrapped, pre-wrapped, and the coffee's in these kind of cups, which we don't mind, but it's nice to come out and eat, isn't it? Nice to have our meal out. Sorry, he's eating. He's eating, so I better not talk to him. I better not video him while he's It's just so nice to be somewhere else having a cup of coffee and being other than your own cafe chez nous.
It's a nice coffee as well.
It is a nice coffee. So yes, I have sewn. I decided to sew instead of vlogging, and believe me, I wish I hadn't, because I made more mistakes and there were more errors and I had to do more hacks than I've ever done before. And then my niece sent me, she sent on our WhatsApp a little thing about a psychiatrist thing, and I must read it to you, because when I read that I thought, she's got a point there. It might have something to do with the reason why I'm not doing very well at the moment. And the point that she said was, it's a handwritten thing. She's a lecturer at Brighton University, I think. But she sent this. Crises have 3 psychological phases. Phase 1, emergency. You have shared clear goals, and urgency makes us feel energised, focused and even productive. Well, that's the way I felt at the start. Phase 2, regression, and this is the phase apparently that we are now in. We realise the future is uncertain, lose the sense of purpose, get tired, irritable, withdrawn and less productive. That was me. It made me realise when I saw that, I thought, oh, that's me. I can't do anything. I'm just not in the mood. I was, he and I we're not bickering on with each other, but I could sense that we were getting a bit frustrated, you know, and he was getting frustrated with things and I was but having said that, we're still enjoying ourselves. We're still loving it, but for some reason I could sense that there was a different level, sort of. And the third is recovery. We begin to reorient, revise our goals, expectations and roles, and begin to focus on moving beyond versus getting by. And it said all this is a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. And I thought, yeah, she's right, or whoever passed that on to her is very right. We've been in that really, you know, full of vigour and vim. Oh, we're on lockdown, but we're all right. And then you go through the phase where irritability sets in, non-productive things. I mean, we had so many things planned and they never worked out. And well, I wouldn't say they haven't worked out. We had so many things that we were going to do, and we went hell for leather at it first. We did take our time as we did it, but and then we just exhausted ourselves. So I think it's been partly that, And I know that all my kids are saying that they're becoming more and more irritable with the grandkids, and they're all saying, oh, we wish it was over, Grandma, Mum, so you can have them, you can have them. And we were saying, we'd love to have them, we'd love to have them. So I think that's part and parcel of what the situation is at the moment. So I have been making a few cock-ups, and I thought, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you see what they are in my next vlog. So I'm going to stop there because I've rattled on a bit too long. I'm going to love you, and I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to catch you next time. Bye.